service. I have lived in Edmonton since 2011, and I own an LGBTQ retail store called the QUILTBAG with my spouse. I could tell you about all the reasons I don't think we need the police, from the perspective of how they are bad for my business, of how they are demonstrably incompetent at their jobs, of how they continually threaten, harass, and assault my Black and queer loved ones, or of how they scare my customers away. What I would prefer to talk to you about, though, is the fact that to my spouse and I, as business owners, the police are obsolete because of the caring and committed collective of people with whom we share the intersection of Calgary Trail and 76th Avenue in Ben Henderson's ward. This intersection of our neighborhood, Queen Alexandra, is highly policed and increasingly so over the past month, but it does not need to be. The majority of our neighbors pick bottles for a living and they don't have a fixed address. Because they deserve food, water, and shelter on their terms, our bathroom is theirs to use whenever they want it. They rest in our stairwell whenever they need to, usually when it's particularly cold or rainy. We smile and wave hello to each other, and when we have refundables, we pass them on. If police were called in these situations, our neighbors might be fined, arrested, injured, or killed just for existing at this intersection. A couple times, one of our neighbors in particular, who sometimes uses substances, has gotten really, really scared while using and come into the store for help. The things he gets scared of aren't usually perceptible to me, but I believe him when he says he's frightened. Usually all that he needs is company from another tenant who acts as a property manager of sorts. When this happens, the two of them go outside. The property manager gets 2 cups of water from our bathroom, one to splash him in the face with and one for him to drink. And then once he's not feeling so scared, he goes upstairs and has a nap in his own bed. If the police were called, instead of his neighbors taking care of him, this person could be fined, arrested, injured, or killed. We are also neighbors with the residential tenants of our building. We know each other by name, we hold the door open for one another, and sometimes when they're not home, my spouse and I will accept packages to save them a trip to the post office. Sometimes, when we forget to lock the doors, the residential tenants of our building will lock up for us. We take turns shoveling the walkways to ensure safe access for ourselves and our neighbors. We've all contributed some plants to the garden beds in front of the building, and when we have events at the store, we invite the residential tenants in the building to attend. All of the situations I described are currently managed at the municipal level by the armed police and bylaw officers who enforce loitering laws, nuisance property laws, and public intoxication laws. When police are summoned in these kinds of circumstances, people wind up hurt, sent to jail for absolutely no reason, or killed. We don't need the police. We know what 150 odd years of policing history looks like on this land. I'm sick of it, I never wanted it, and I certainly do not want it anymore. I am against the referred motion because it is grossly insufficient. I call on you instead to immediately repeal the $75 million budget increase promised to EPS in 2019 and to invest EPS's entire $383 million budget into new grassroots infrastructure that prioritizes community safety for Black, Indigenous, and otherwise marginalized communities within 1 month. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Ms. Blakey. Next up is Kimo Mansouri.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak